We have a tradition with our concerts that just after intermission with somebody, and today it's me, from the group comes out and talks just a little bit about what it's like to play for Fiddle-icious, or what it means to me, and so it's my turn in the barrel. And actually, I'm glad to do it because it's a great experience. Now, my decision to I had to figure out how to go about explaining what Fiddle-icious actually meant to me. And after a little thought, it finally came to me that I've had two musical experiences in my life with instruments. So I'm going to give you three comparisons. And one is the fiddle, and it's the Fiddle-icious experience. And you can see in my left hand, there's my fiddle. And what you can't see in my right hand is the clarinet that disappeared from my life so many decades ago. But there's going to be a comparison. It'll get clear. Anyway, okay, first with the clarinet. As a wee one, I took clarinet lessons for 2 years. And in that 2 years, I played scales, and I played arpeggios, and I had 2 thick books of exercises, and each exercise was more complex, more difficult to do than the one before. And in the entire 2 years, the number of tunes or recognizable melodies was 0. And so that's one, and so compare it to Fiddle-icious. Don explained that we start right in the beginning of the year in January and go through into July, learning tunes. Well, every other week we get together and Don or a guest will be teaching us two new tunes. Well, if you do the math, that means that in the first 2 years I learned and played about 50 tunes. So, first comparison, Fiddle-icious 50, clarinet 0. You see where I'm going with this? Okay. The next comparison is that in the clarinet, when I was having my lessons, the first thing we do in the lesson is to go over the exercises that I was preparing and practicing the week before. And then if I hadn't made too many mistakes, my teacher would teach a new set or a new exercise. Well, perfection being what it is and what I'm not, there were some mistakes that I made when I was playing those exercises. And from time to time, I would be going through my playing of the clarinet, and I could see my teacher's face turning red, and I could see him sort of squirming his feet, and at the end of it he said, "That was horrible." And so it says, "I can't give you new exercises this week. You're going to have to do them all over again. And instead of playing 30 minutes a night this next 2 weeks, you're going to play 45 minutes. Now, get that. The punishment is playing more music. Really? Well, anyway, compare that with Fiddle-icious. We all come, we're at all different levels. Don is teaching a large number of tunes, and oh, by the way, there are some wrong notes when we're doing this. But when Don hears it, he just sort of smiles and tells us, we all play wrong notes, and don't worry about it. But he asks us one thing. He says, I ask you one thing. And he says, when you play the wrong notes, play them loud. That way you can hear them and you can fix them. So if the first comparison was 50 to nothing, Fiddle-icious is now about 487 to nothing. And last comparison. In the 2 years that I played the clarinet, I can't ever remember just playing and listening to what I was playing and just feeling good about it and listening and just having to lift my spirits. And the comparison with Fiddle-icious is that it happens all the time. I mean, when we're being taught the tunes, when we play them together as a group, when I go home and play them and play some variations on it and just sort of play with it, it's all fun, and it's all great, and it's, I guess that final comparison is that with the clarinet there wasn't much music, and with Fiddle-icious it's just everything, it's all music, and it's absolutely fabulous. Since I've been given the gift of music, I do have to make out a thank you or two. And there's an angel in the audience, my wife. And I inherited this from my mother, and the fiddle at the time was a relic. It had 3 gut strings, no bridge, broken tail piece. And when I got it, I always said, oh, what a great piece of woodwork. And I would have been satisfied with that, but my wife fixed it up for me and pointed me in the right direction on how to start learning the music. And but the real angelic thing is that she plays for the Bangor Symphony. She plays the violin, and she played with Portland Symphony for 25 years. And all these years that I've been kind of stumbling along on my own, she's resisted the temptation to help me do it right. And that's a real act of love, so I want to say thank you. And I also want to, I can't be up here and not say thank you to Don. And I'm getting a look from Cindy saying, oh, don't call him an angel. Please don't call him an angel. So I won't. So, Don, you devil, you. Thank you so much for your gift of music and your time and just the joy of it all. So thank you very much.